Hit it, Blake.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
There's Alex. It's Rita, but it's not. She's gone. Hey, there's Blake. All right.
3, 2, 1. We're back.
We're back. Not gonna lie, this took us a few tries to get ready. We had to fiddle around with the camera a bit, so this is actually
just a tad.
The third attempt at filming today.
I mean, is it fair to really call the other ones attempts so much as it was?
Yeah, because they were attempts. They were just failed attempts.
I mean, they were very short-lived attempts,
They were very short-lived attempts, but they were attempts nonetheless.
But we got here.
And
we're here.
We have much better lighting.
We have much better lighting.
Shout out to it's like Ed, Jeff, Jabari.
Mm-hmm.
I think Wyatt would help if I understood correctly. I have no idea, but a lot of them came over. It was either yesterday or this morning, and they did some lighting, and it looks much better. Because we did not realize how horrendous of a job. See, you folks back at home, you don't know how bad it was.
Oh, they saw.
I mean, yeah, the film was grainy, but they didn't see what we saw. We saw the difference in what it looked like after and what it looked like before. And when I tell
That's true.
It was horrendous. We did a bad job.
We did a pretty bad job, but it's better now.
It is better now.
So that's nice. Yeah. We also changed our audio setup.
We did.
So
fingers crossed this works.
Fingers crossed this works because they're no longer. These are no longer going to be separate tracks.
Yeah, it's all one.
So if they're not balanced with each other, you're just going to kind of have to put up with someone being a bit loud.
Yeah, we're working it out. This mic, I am a lot louder than he is, so this mic is, and this mic's a lot quieter. So that's why I have this mic now.
That's right. We swap mics because I talk quietly.
Yeah.
He talks less quietly.
Also, there's a big old light right there, and I couldn't set it up on this because it was gonna hit the light. So I put it on this side, and then Alex was like, "I'm just gonna sit over here," and I was like, "Okay, cool," and it worked out.
So new and improved setup.
New and hopefully improved.
And hopefully improved.
It's approved yet.
New, and we're about to find out how improved it is.
About to find out, ladies and gentlemen.
But anyways, let's get to Gleason business.
Gleason business. So first up, Gleason cannons.
Oh, the Gleason cannons. That's right. We can talk about those, right?
I want to say so, and I want to say yes. And if not, we'll just ask Jeff after the fact, and this recording will be a lot shorter in post.
Yeah. If we can't talk about it, there's going to be this beautiful cut right now. Okay.
Yeah. So speaking of 6:40, so just keeping track of time.
Yeah.
So our new president. Hold up. You want to explain the Gleason cannons? I realize we didn't shut the door.
So while
I'm gonna let him explain.
Yeah. While Blake goes shut the door, the new president has requested that we build or design some confetti cannons that they want to use for events. They want to start using more pyrotechnics for just general events around campus. So thanks to the ingenuity at Gleason Performing Arts Center, we threw together some confetti cannons with plumbing equipment, PVC pipe, and Oh yeah, with what do we call him again?
His name is Geeks. I will explain that after.
That's right.
But yeah, so we're making some Gleason cannons.
Yeah.
And of course, we had to have some Gleason fun.
This is already a messy episode as is. We just said, we may have to cut out this whole section. Now we're gonna have to cut out this smaller section if the big section can stay in. This is gonna be such hell to edit. I don't have hours in the week to just pour into all right.
Okay, I'll just do it during one of my shifts, and I'll be like, Jeff, thoughts? And then anyway,
this is for your safety as much as it's for mine, Jeff. I need to work on this.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they're pretty cool, and they've actually done some major improvements the last couple days. I heard.
Have they? I know they spray painted it.
They spray painted it, and they got some actual they sealed it much better, so it holds pressure much better.
That's right. Because there was a slow leak.
It was slowly leaking, and so we're slowly improving it and building upon the Gleason cannons, and they're getting pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah. Jeff's trying to get streamers that work. He's trying to get the right color.
Okay. I see.
He's trying to get the right color.
I was about to ask, it's paper. What's broken
he's trying to get the right
about
color. So once that works, because I think he wants to have 7.
Yeah.
6 and a backup.
Yes, 6. I thought you said 6 and 2 backups.
Okay, then it might be 6 and 2 backups.
I think it was 6 and 2 backups, so 8 total.
So yeah, but we're working on the first one.
Florida
right now.
Tech Pyrotechnics are a thing. It's gonna be super cool. I'm so excited to see how they get used.
Who it was? Was someone referred to him? I think he referred to himself as the Pyro President.
The Pyro President. That's fun.
Yeah. So it's looking forward to it. It's gonna be pretty cool.
I absolutely would love to get to operate them at events.
Kayla did an orientation. She was very happy.
Like, that's going to be so fun. When we take on events, the first question out of my mouth is going to be, are there pyrotechnics involved?
I'm looking. There's a few events this year that I'm excited to work, and I'm excited to share with y'all because we actually have some pretty cool stuff coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know at the staff meeting that we had, remember, Jeff, you were there. We were all there.
We were all there. It was a staff meeting.
Jeff was talking about how there's a lot of cool events coming up, and like looking at the calendar, there's some pretty stuff.
I'm gonna have to start picking and choosing some of those events. Shift. I'm busy with classes, but I'm gonna try and take what I can.
Less karaoke, more concerts is what he said, and
I'm more than okay with that. Karaoke's fun to do like once. Karaoke's fun to do once because it's like it's going to be bad. Yeah. And then after that, it's like, this is still bad. Why are we doing it again?
Yeah. It's you sit through one karaoke and you're like, that was fun. And you sit to your 5th karaoke and you're like, oh my lord, this is not fun.
And you're like, and they peaked the mic again.
and
this guy's whispering. All right.
Okay. I actually need to talk about this because this is probably one of my funniest karaoke stories. It was for the Relay for Life karaoke. Mm-hmm. This guy went up there and he requested this. It was a song in I don't know what the language is, and I don't want to be rude. Whatever the language, one of the languages. I know India has a lot of different languages. Yeah. It sounded. The guy was Indian. So it sounded like one of the. I don't know which one it was because I know there's a bunch, and I don't want to start just guessing. Right. That's mean. So it was one of those languages. So it wasn't English, and so no one could actually understand the words. But he absolutely pulled the wool over everyone's eyes, and he muted his mic, started lip syncing. Everyone thought it was him. We were freaking out the entire time. We're like, oh my god, does he realize his mic's muted? Oh wow, does he realize his mic's muted? Song ends. He unmutes it. He goes, thank you all very much. Have a good night, and then walks away. And we're all like. He knew his mic was muted.
He played them for fools.
He played everyone but us on the soundboard because we knew, because we were freaking out because we're like, his mic's muted, but it wasn't. He was just, and look, we gave him a round of applause. We're like, you know what? That was impressive.
That's honestly,
I respected the hustle, and I don't know what his name was, but good on you.
I respect that man gaslights girl bosses and gatekeeps. Yeah, I can respect that.
So back to this. This is Geeks.
Hi, Geeks.
So probably about a month ago now, because we're in like week 5. Do you realize that?
Oh, I do. We're actually going into week 7. Week 6 just ended. This is going. I know that because my Brit class does our syllabus by weeks, so I know I just ended week 6, week 7. I like that. I hate my schedule this semester. I want it to be over.
Yeah, that's fair. So probably about a month ago, our room in my dorm was sad. We didn't have much decorations. We wanted some decorations, so me and my friends, we went shopping. We went to Walmart, and then we went to Target, and then at the end of it, we went to a flea market. In that flea market,
I said I was just adding. I love flea markets.
Me too. I love flea markets. So silly. There's always there's usually there's like the normal, like you can tell like everybody that sells at a flea market, like a lot of the time they buy them stuff. Because I've been to a lot of flea markets, and you always see like the same, especially jewelry.
Oh yeah,
it's the same jewelry. So I'm like, I know you're buying this in bulk from someone because I see it everywhere I go. But then you always have some really cool stuff, like this one. This was the dude. He sold like some like wall ornaments, and they were all, from what we could tell, handmade. And this is one of them. His name is Geeks. We all split it, and he just sits on our dining room table in our apartment. And yeah, he does this little cool thing. And so every once in a while, you'll just see someone play. Oh, his eyes are a little wonky. Yeah, there he goes. You see someone playing with Geeks, and Geeks is yeah, we love Geeks. He's fun to play with.
He is fun to play with. He's such a cool guy.
We play Dungeons and Dragons. He sits right in front of the DM screen.
That's good.
And he just judges us the entire time. If you want to see more of Geeks, let us know in the comments. I will definitely get him. Yeah. I'll bring him.
Yeah, let us know about Geeks.
I like Geeks. Let me know if you like Geeks.
Do you like Geeks? Let us know.
Speaking of comments.
Okay.
Alex.
Oh, I have to explain myself with this one.
Was it your friend that left?
It was my friend.
Paragraph long.
It was my. So my friends.
I'm not saying it was bad. I was very much appreciated. It just caught me off guard.
So my friends started this bit a little while ago of occasionally making extremely long, grandiose responses to just something at random. And so Harish, my dear friend Harish, decided that it would be the first episode back for the podcast. Would be that. I saw as soon as Jeff sent that, I was like, oh shoot, it's one of them. Which one was it? And I saw it was Harish. I'm like, of course.
Because I started reading it and it was like, oh, what a joyous day. And then I was like, oh, this is nice. And then I kept reading it and it just kept going. It kept going. It was a wall. I couldn't view the whole message at once on my phone in Teams. You have to scroll past it. Very well done, Harish. Yeah, you grabbed Jeff's attention. You were in the work chat. If we could fit it on the clacker, we would have. But
we would have. Also, if we had a white marker, we have to figure that out for next week.
Episode 3.
Episode 3. That's what we said the first time, anyways.
We did.
So,
running back to the staff meeting.
Yeah.
Gleason is now divided into Hogwarts houses.
That's right.
That is
Jeff
true.
did do that.
And you know what I realized today?
What'd you realize?
I realized that last spring, so last semester, not counting summer, I made a comment because we were doing some work and Ed, like as a joke, he was like, I was like 12 points to Gryffindor. And I told him, I was like, you're joking, but that would actually motivate the hell out of me. And then I realized that now that I think he took me seriously, which I kind of was serious because it would. But yeah, now we're divided into Hogwarts houses. What house are you, Alex?
I'm Gryffindor. Gryffindor.
Yeah, so he's the main character.
Yeah, I am. I mean,
Ravenclaw. What
else am I gonna be?
Which I don't know much about the Hogwarts houses. I've seen the movies.
Ravenclaw is supposed to be like nerds. You're a nerd.
You know what? Actually,
and you're a math major, so.
Yeah. I'll take it. You know, I will wear that with pride. But yeah, when he was like, oh yeah, you're in Ravenclaw. I was like, the Ravenclaw was. Because I only know, Gryffindor and Slytherin. Those are the two that everyone knows.
Gryffindor's supposed to be bravery. Slytherin's supposed to be slyness. They're cunning and ambitious. I know it's not supposed to be bad, even though for 6 out of the 7 books they're supposed to be portrayed as bad.
On my Slytherin aren't necessarily villains, so I'm gonna let's finish this.
Oh boy.
And then Ravenclaw, because my actual Hogwarts.
Ravenclaw's supposed to be like intelligence, so you're supposed to be smart.
And then Hufflepuffs are particularly good finders, and I know when Rena watches this episode, she's going to go to the comments and comment about that because Rena would say that all the time.
I really know nothing about Hufflepuff. Hufflepuff, I feel like Gryffindor's like, oh, brave, Slytherin's cunning, Ravenclaw's smart, and then Hufflepuff's like the rejects.
Good finders.
Or they're finders.
Rena, when you watch this episode, put in the comments where that's from because I can't remember, but I know you know. Anyways.
Anywho's.
Slytherins. Yes, they are the stereotypical villains. But I am here on their behalf to say that they're not necessarily villains.
No.
They're two traits that define a Slytherin. They're cunning and ambitious, and although not everyone who is cunning and ambitious is a villain, most villains tend to be cunning and ambitious. So that's how that works. Because I did get someone was like, "Oh, you're a Slytherin, you're a bad guy," and I was like, "No, no." And so now I am.
Yeah, square's a rectangle. Rectangle's not a square kind of deal.
Come to their defense, whatever. So yeah, we're divided into Hogwarts houses now. Gryffindor's winning.
I love how this is just
Gryffindor isn't winning.
No, because Hufflepuff's winning because I think it was Peter took a phone call for Jeff.
Yeah,
and got 10 points,
like 25 points
or something like that. Good job, Peter.
Are we gonna have to start updating the watchers on who's winning the?
Of course we are. Now we have to.
Yeah, we'll start. Look, here's what we'll do. Starting now, at some point in the video, we will put the updated totals on the bottom of the screen right here.
Oh, come on. I have to do more editing.
I'll do the editing.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be great. Look. Oh, no. Geeks hit the floor.
Last year, Rena and I just kept going like, we'll put this on screen. We'll put this on screen. Nothing ended up on screen.
We'll put it at the end.
We'll put it at the okay. That's actually easier. At the end. At the end.
Back what I just said about the at the bottom of the screen here. At the end of the video, we will do our best. No promises to update you on who's winning the Gleason. And you know what, y'all, you can place your bets on who's gonna win. Not actual bets. We don't encourage gambling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not gambling as long as a house is. That's the legal definition of, or the somewhat legal definition of gambling.
What is?
It's not gambling if the house doesn't take a cut.
Really?
I believe that's what defines just playing for money and gambling. I believe that is the distinction. Still, don't gamble. Gambling is a no. You're gonna Google it now, or you're? What happened? You pulled your phone. I thought you were about to Google.
I pulled my phone out. Oh, I was not looking up that. No, I was just seeing.
I do believe that is a distinction. Don't gamble. don't lose all your money. That's stupid. If most people watch this, you're either a broke college student or fresh out of college, still broke a little. Don't gamble.
Yep.
Not smart.
Don't gamble unless you want to win big, but don't gamble.
Alex, don't gamble.
I can't say that. Don't gamble. I can't endorse gambling. Don't gamble.
What else was I going to talk about that happened in the meeting? Oh, so we unveiled Jeffo. Last episode, we talked about Jeffo.
Yep.
We've officially unveiled Jeffo. We unveiled him at the staff meeting. He's also in the intro twice. I don't know.
He is.
About that.
He has made 2 cameos.
So one of the funniest thing that I think happened at the staff meeting was, so Ed brought his kid. His kid he brought his kid Eddie, and his friend. And so while we're in the middle of the staff meeting, all of a sudden, from like the back of because we're in the lobby, and we're all facing Jeff, and so across from Jeff, so on the opposite side of the lobby, so everyone has to turn around. You just hear, caw! And so we all are very confused. Turn and look. We turn back, and then all we see is just Jeffo just getting run off with, and we're like, Ed, I think your kid just stole Jeffo. And then sure enough, that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, it was impressive. It was really
impressive.
It was really well done. They just had really to be a little quicker, and we wouldn't have known.
We wouldn't have noticed. So about 20 minutes later, when we were having a little icebreaker, and I was just standing like towards one of the entrances into the auditorium.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the auditorium, and they had Jeffo. They had surrounded him with chairs, and they were just like dancing around him. And I was like, Ed, I think your kid started a cult. And he went, yeah, boys will be boys. And you know what? Boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys. That's a good definition of boys will be boys. Is starting a cult around a cardboard cutout of your father's superior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it sounds like something I'd have done when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
If my dad brought me to work and I had nothing else to do.
Yeah, no. If I was just like dragged along to some like workplace, I probably would like. If there was a cardboard cutout of the boss.
Yeah, it's funny.
Like that's awesome.
You know what? And and then they did it. They honestly deserved it. They pulled off that heist.
No, they did
pretty well for some kids.
I know Eddie watches this still, maybe. So like props to you, Eddie, for that. Eddie. That was actually really funny.
I know he does because Ed commented, and apparently Eddie felt really bad for me because he was like, "Why does Blake get blamed for everything?"
Just know, Eddie, it's the way it has to be.
It is the way it has to be. That's
maintains balance.
Maintains balance. And then we also for points. So we did one of the icebreakers that we had to like tell a fun little fact. Speaking of, I want to know what yours was. I'll get to mine in a second.
Okay.
So we had to tell a fun little fact, and then the kids got to decide who they thought the best was, and then that house got points. And then the second thing we did for points for our houses was the spelling bee. And let me tell you, Peter did a good job.
Peter did a great job. Caleb, you sucked. No, Caleb tried. Caleb tried his best. Caleb was our team. He spelled scarf wrong. So he had that going for him. No, he did decent.
I got tripped up on the third level words, but Peter, quite frankly, he just thought faster than me, and you know what? I respect it.
No, Peter was really impressive. Top of it. He was good.
So although I do think it was funny because after I got eliminated, I went to sit next to Jeff and I was calling some of the words, and I think some of the words, they were just Louisiana words. And I know Ed's going to be like, oh, there goes Blake with another mention to Louisiana.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah, it's there. But two of the words were Zydeco and étouffé.
That's fair. Those actually kind of are like
Louisiana words. Zydeco is a music that's very popular. It's Cajun music.
Mm-hmm.
And then étouffé is a Cajun dish.
Yeah,
so I thought it was funny because I was like, man, if Jeff would have called these, I'd have been.
You could have spelled those. Yeah.
Étouffé has 3 accent marks. They are all in the E's. I want to say it's ETOUFEE. I might have spelled that wrong. I probably missed a T or an F somewhere in there.
Likely, it's based on French, so there's got to be some letters you don't need.
Just if you think the rule number 1 of French, if you think you have enough letters, you don't. But yeah, and then all of the E's have accent marks, and then Zydeco is just ZYDECO. It's spelled exactly how it sounds. That one's not exactly a tricky one. The thing though, and I'm very upset about the meeting. Ed said he was going to bring his dog. and then he didn't.
That's right. There was mention of a dog
Ed
that's
said
supposed
he
to
was
be
gonna bring a
present.
dog. Ed got a dog. His name is Doug. He's Doug the dog. I want to say he's like a golden retriever. I've seen a few pictures of Doug, and that's what I think he is. But no one told us that he'd gotten a dog, and so one day we went to pick up a package, and Jeff texts us. He's like, "Yeah, there's a package. There should be something in there for Ed." And we opened it up, and it was a dog collar. And none of us knew that Ed had gotten a dog. Ed hadn't mentioned it, and so we're just kind of looking at it going, Jeff?
Wrong address, maybe, Ed.
And he goes, oh, it's for Ed's new dog. And we went, Ed got a dog? But we were very confused as to why he goes, yeah, it's for Ed. And then we opened it up, and it was a dog collar, and we were very confused. But then he quickly clarified by saying that it was in fact for Ed's new dog, which he said he was going to bring to the staff meeting, and he didn't.
And did not. I wish I could have pet the dog.
Yeah.
But
me too. I love dogs.
I love dogs. There's that one fluffy service dog that's always in the library. I want to pet it so bad, but there's the big sign on its thing that says "Do not pet." It hurts me.
What is dogs or cats?
For me, dogs, easily.
See, I like both.
I mean, I like both, but I prefer dogs.
I like both equally.
You like both equally?
I had a cat. I had a cat growing up. It was older. He's no longer alive. Sad. But he was older than me. He was 19 years old when he died, and that was a year ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know cats could live that long.
They usually don't. It was impressive, and every time I'd get annoyed with him because he'd, just, do cat things.
Yeah.
My mom would always remind me, that don't forget, he's older than you are. He's been here longer than you.
He has seniority.
Like, he's got seniority. The cat had seniority.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea how hard it is when the cat has seniority? You're not winning anything.
You have no leverage in that. No, you have nothing.
Yeah.
But so for events that we've worked so far, we had our first concert. Or I think it was first-ish concert for the semester. There might have been one at orientation.
Orientation had the hypnotist guy.
That's not a concert.
Yeah, it's not a concert. So I think this was the first.
This was the first concert of the semester. We had a local band show up, Gary Laser Eyes.
Gary Laser Eyes. I thought it was Gay Laser Eyes.
That reminds me of this is.
Ed told me I was drunk and to go home.
That reminds me of a story from Boy Scouts. Right, quick side tangent here. When we would go hiking in the Appalachians, it was like if it was your first time hiking there for that big high adventure hike, you would get a trail name. And so one of my friends, this was before my time, he was older than me, so this is already how this was told to me, passed down to me.
Mm-hmm. Like any good story.
Yeah. That he, I guess, kept looking out and spacing out when they were hiking, so he got the trail name Gazer. And one of the troop leaders is older, bit harder of hearing, so he turns and is like, did you just call him Gay Laser? And so then that's the actual trail name that stuck.
That's pretty funny.
And that was pretty fun.
Did you see the stickers that they gave out?
I did. I have one in my room. I haven't figured out what to put it on yet because I don't have a water bottle. Yeah. I do, but I don't use it. I have my little plastic cup.
It's a big sticker.
It is a big sticker.
It's like that big.
It's like a bumper sticker.
And it says Gary Laser Eyes is a bleep band name.
Yeah.
I can't say the word because this is a school affiliate.
Yes, podcast. Because save the effort of editing this later.
Yeah, so
please.
Yeah. So it says Gary Laser Eyes is a bleep band name, and I think that's pretty funny. And I appreciate that they're self-aware that it is a strange band name.
It is very strange. I looked at the band member list, and there is no Gary, so I have eliminated that as a source. So I don't know how or who came up with it.
Mean, you're gonna remember them.
No, I do remember them now. They stuck in my mind.
Yeah,
I actually went onto their Spotify just to see who's Gary, and then now I listen to their music.
Do you know who Gary is?
No, there's no Gary. That's the thing. There is not a Gary.
There is no Gary. Gary
Laser Eyes does not have a Gary, unless one of them happens to go by Gary for some reason. But there wasn't really a name I thought would be that could be nicknamed to Gary. Gary's its own entity at the end of the day.
So, circling back, what was your interesting story that you told at the staff meeting? First, can it be told on the podcast?
My interesting story I told?
So at the staff meeting, whenever we were breaking up into our little groups, everybody had to do like a fun little interesting fact or interesting story. What was yours?
Oh, so
first, can it be told in the podcast?
It can be told. The podcast is fine. I did not do anything too crazy.
Cool.
So my fun fact originally was just that I've gone hiking in the Appalachian Range, and I've hiked Mount Washington, right? That's kind of what I default to, because I'm on the spot, and it's like, what's something interesting I've done? It's like, oh, I've gone to this mountain. That's neat. And then Julia's like, she mentioned the whole frozen food thing that came up. I'm like, you want to know what? That's actually a bit more of a wacky, interesting fact. I love frozen food. I love frozen pizza rolls.
Frozen pizza rolls. That is episode 9, I want to say.
I think.
Go watch it.
I think it's not episode 9 or 8.
It's the short one.
It's the shorter one. It's like half an hour. It's me and Rena eating frozen food and making her drink Pamplemousse LaCroix. You should check it out. Very fun. But so those are like my 2 interesting facts I picked. Was that I picked the fact that I've gone hiking, and the fact that I eat frozen pizza rolls and other frozen foods, frozen corn. I like frozen, especially sweet corn. Frozen sweet corn's like a dessert for me.
Honestly, that probably would be pretty good.
It is.
You know what mine was?
What?
I almost got left in Mexico when I was 7 years old.
All right, you win.
Yeah.
You win. Why?
So actually, I might have been younger than that. I might have been closer to 5. But Mexico was having a bad trafficking problem. Like, people were going in, adopting kids. They were adopting Mexican kids and then taking them back across the border, where they shouldn't have been, because they didn't have any kind of papers, and they were taking them away from their families. So like they were kind of like every family that would pass through customs, they'd go to the child and they'd ask him, "Is this your mommy and daddy?" And they'd see what the child says. Obviously it's not like that's like there's only so much you can do in that case, and that's the best they could do. So it was like my whole mom's side of the family. So my cousin is in front of us, her family. My cousin is light-skinned, blonde hair, blue eyes. Okay. So he asks her, "Is this your mommy and daddy?" And she goes, "No, it's not." And he goes, "Yeah, okay. Blonde hair, blue eyes kid, pale skin, clearly not of Hispanic origin." Next. Gets to me. I'm dark hair, dark eyes. I'd been in the sun for 3 weeks.
Oh, so you've tanned.
Oh, I was dark. And my mom looks at me and goes, "Don't you dare." So of course now I got to do it. So then the customs officer comes up to me and goes, "Is this your mommy and daddy?" And I look him dead in the eyes. I'm like, I said 7. I was probably like close between 5 and 7 years old. And I go, "No, sir." And then my mom started to freak out. Luckily, they were aware of this because this had been going on. So like she came prepared because I was that kid. And so she had my birth certificate. She had everything to prove that yes, this kid is in fact my child and is of American origin. That only held us up at the border for about an hour and a half.
Oh my god.
But yeah, if they wouldn't have come prepared, there's a strong I could have gotten left in Mexico.
Listen,
I was a trouble child.
I would say, I don't know if I'd go as far to say I'm a trouble child. I was a trouble child. I was definitely like a rapscallion. I don't think I would mess with U.S. customs.
Okay, because see, the thing was, I had no intent of doing it until my mom said, "Don't even think about it."
To be fair, when you get told not to do something, especially by your mom, that basically means it has to happen.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my fun fact. And then my other one is the default of I can't hear in one ear, but that one gotta get boring.
Yeah, it is. It's like, I tell you good job, but you're not gonna hear it. Anyway, that one doesn't get old.
That one's saying I can't hear gets old. Hearing impaired jokes never get old.
Never.
I don't know why I'm just remembering this. They might have found the guy who shot Tupac.
You did message about that.
I did. And
you did.
I think 30 years later, they might have found him.
They might have.
I will say this though, I really hope it's him, because if not, the detectives that said this might be him, they're gonna be in so much trouble. Or even worse, they're gonna double down and a guy's gonna go to jail for something he didn't do, and that would be terrible.
That would be pretty bad.
Hopefully it's actually him, so everyone gets what they deserve.
That would be pretty cool, because the Tupac case has been like closed and opened how many times now?
It's not. It hasn't been. I don't think, at least as far as I'm aware, it hadn't been officially closed. It was still open, but it was like long abandoned.
Okay.
I don't from what I heard, is they got like a random, just anonymous tip of, hey, this guy, and they went get him, and so now they're looking into it. Yeah, I've heard some people say that he's framed, to which I say, why would they frame him 30 years later? Right? Okay, like if this was like a year after it happened, I'd go, yeah, okay, that's plausible. But almost 30 years after Tupac got shot.
That is such a wild prank to pull on your friend, though. If you're like, you want to know what? What if I convict him of one of the most like famous murders of all time that happened 30 years ago? That's still open, just by throwing in an anonymous tip. It was my friend. I mean, this guy I don't know. Yeah. It was him, and then he's just.
I will say that's what I say to people who are like, that he was framed. It's like, what? There's no reason to frame anybody. Most people have just come to believe that either A, Tupac wasn't shot and he's still living, which I mean, you know.
To each their own.
To each their own. It could be true for all I know.
Tupac could be right there off. He could be the one monitoring the camera right now for all you know. But
plot twist: there's actually just a TV behind the camera.
It is just a TV behind the camera. I'm looking at myself in the eye right now.
I'm looking at myself. Actually, I'm looking at Alex's eyes.
They're quite nice to look into. I've been told.
Yeah. You do have some nice brown eyes. Yeah, but then like everybody else just assumed like, yeah, they're never gonna find him. So there's really no reason to frame anybody, is what I'm trying to get at. Did you know? Not one, but 2 Gleason employees are music makers, music creators, artists.
Really?
If you shall.
I actually didn't.
Jabari.
Okay.
Jabari does. He made mention to it a few times, and I wanted to ask. He's supposed to come join us today, but he couldn't make it. And I wanted to ask him about that, but maybe next time. And Issa.
Really?
Yeah. Issa has experience making music, and I don't know if either of them were serious. I'll have to follow up. Jeff, when you watch this, let me know if you were, and then we'll get to it, because I know you're gonna watch it. They wanted Issa to make like a new official Gleason podcast intro.
That would actually be really cool. If it's not just us singing into the microphone is really fun.
I actually wanted to talk about the creative.
Okay. So I'll let you talk about that later
in a bit. But I don't know if they were serious. It'd be really cool if they were. But I didn't want to be like, yeah, Issa, do that, and then like force her into something she didn't want to do.
Yeah, it's like, come on, where's my intro music, Issa?
If that's actually something that she wanted to do, that'd be so cool, and I would be so down for that, and that'd be actually really cool.
I'd also
we'd give her credit in the end.
We would. Yeah. I'd also like to apologize to Issa, because I saw her at the stairwell today, and I looked her in the eyes and I was like, hi, Percy. I'm yet to work a shift with either of them officially. I don't know. I think I may have like spoken a few words to Percy and a few words to Issa.
Percy's cool. They're both cool.
But I've not worked shifts with them, so they're the 2 staff members I'm least acquainted with.
That's fair. I like all of the new people. Like,
all the new hires have been great so far. It's been no complaint.
Dakota?
Yes.
I think Dakota and Rena would have gotten along great.
I think Dakota and Rena would have gotten along swimmingly. I think it's funny, some of the things Dakota does that remind me of Rena.
100%. We'll have to get her on the podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
So then, because I know Rena still watches these.
I know. Yep, Rena commented on this one, or the last one.
You'll get to meet him. She's really cool, and I think I want to have as many Gleason members on this podcast as possible.
I do. My goal is to try and get everyone on once. That is my ambition for the year.
That'd be dope.
Because I feel like the semester is a bit I don't think there's enough episodes
There's
in the semester
left in the semester.
But I think if we start next week getting a guest on, we should be able to get them all by the end of spring.
I think that'd be dope.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah. What was I say? But that'd be really cool if Issa made the intro. Speaking of the intro, what do y'all think? Do y'all like it? Do you hate it?
Yeah, did you miss the actual song?
Okay, so here's what happened. Ed blames things on me all the time. I'm flipping the tables. I'm blaming things on Ed.
This one's valid.
Blaming things. This is just true. This is what happened.
Preface with, we still love you, Ed.
Yeah, we love you. Ed, we FaceTimed Ed like 20 minutes before we started recording because we were having audio issues, and Ed answered, and he's great. We love Ed. We love both of our bosses. They're both great.
They're both great guys.
But Ed purged all of the old podcast media from the Macs.
Yep.
Which is like, okay.
I had it all organized in this one folder on the desktop called Podcast Media that had a folder inside of it for each episode, and he deleted the whole folder.
Thing. So we didn't have the old intro. So originally what we were going to do is we were just going to take that old intro, splice me over the Rena's part, and then just put it right back in.
Mm-hmm.
But
reduce, reuse, recycle.
Couldn't do that. So what we did instead was like, okay, well, I guess we're starting from scratch, which honestly...
That was probably going to happen at some point.
I think updating the intro every once in a while would be cool.
It would be. I'd like to try and do some cameo Easter eggs.
I don't even know if you realize this. I didn't notice it till after the episode uploaded. This is the GPAC Reboot. Mm-hmm. In the title card, I put GPAC Reloaded. So...
Oops.
So now we are forced with a dilemma to either stick with it or fix it and see if anyone knows.
The issue is that the video title on YouTube is GPAC Rebooted.
Yeah, so we'll fix that. This one, this episode probably won't be. I didn't notice that till after the fact. I was like, oh, I put Reloaded, and I meant to put Rebooted.
Whoops.
Whoopsies. This one should be rebooted. If it's not, call us out in the comments. Definitely. But yeah, so we had to start from scratch, and I think that was actually really good. I think that's definitely something that we should do.
I think it is. I think it was best to do it that way.
Once a year.
Yeah, no, I think it makes sense. We were kind of jokingly calling this season 2, and I've just committed to it. I've put it in like all the titles and whatnot, and even the file names. These are like season 2, episode 1.
Different seasons, and this is a different season.
I think it's fair to like every year or maybe every semester is a new season.
Yeah, it'd be great. But yeah, so Ed, so like we're trying to like find the old copyright free audio, and Ed goes, oh, well, just sing it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, Ed, it's funny, haha. And so as we're searching the interweb for it, he comes in, he grabs a mic cable, plugs into the computer, plugs into the mic, goes, yeah, you should be good to go. And I'm like, oh, you were serious?
I was shocked that he was serious.
He was dead serious. So we recorded it, and I think it's giving like home movie.
It does.
Home movie, like...
It gives, like, my iMovie project vibes.
I like it. And I also think it's really wholesome that, like, you hear Ed's, like, little comments.
I did like the little jabs Ed put in there.
Yeah,
He timed those to the original intro, but it just so happened to line up pretty much. Well. Yeah, pretty much right where it needed to.
You hear, oh, it's Alex. And then right as I open the door, he goes, it's Rita, but it's not. She's gone.
Yep.
And then towards the end, while I'm like gallivanting down the hall, he goes, it's Blake, and it turned out pretty well. And then at the end, as you fade out, you can just hear Ed's little chuckle. And
I think the chuckle was perfect because it was like otherwise it would be kind of like awkwardly silent.
Yeah.
I think the laugh at the end was necessary, and it was awesome.
And then at the beginning, you have the little Blake hit it, and then it turns around, and it's great. Mm-hmm. It turned out really, really well. But no, yeah, I definitely think that. Redoing the intro every once in a while is because I also had fun making the new intro.
No, it's fun.
But I think what we need to do is we need to get progressively like more and more. Yeah. It's like this one is like the last one was in the podcast studio. Mm-hmm. This one, it's in the. But now I think the next one, like we need to like I don't know, like go on the greens and like do something fun there.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
More and more. Like,
scale it up.
Scale it up because don't go backwards. That's not how that works.
No, we can't do something smaller.
Backwards.
More, bigger, better.
Yeah, bigger, better. That's how we roll here, Gleason.
Yeah, but I will say that because I remember when me and Rena came up with that intro idea where it's like, okay, it'll start with painting at the on-air sign to the door. I open the door, and then it'll be you at the table, and then me holding the camera all along, even though I'm the one that opened the door. Like it was kind of like a fun sort of like.
And then it took us like 30 minutes to record that.
Oh yeah,
it took 30 minutes to record, about an hour to edit. Not even that difficult.
No, I mean it's a 30-second intro.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, it came out really well. I will say once everybody starts singing. Because it's kind of funny because you can tell everybody took a second to kind of like fall in line with the singing because at the beginning it sounds rough.
Oh yeah.
And then a second goes by and everybody kind of like oh okay, and everybody gets into it and then it sounds much better.
Yeah, it took a moment for there to be some cohesion.
Yeah, I was like, ooh. And then we got Jeffo in it.
I do like that Jeffo's in twice when you pan past the desk and when we're on the stage at the end.
Right as it cuts to us, our pretty little faces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that was really fun, and I enjoyed making that. I had a list.
You have a list?
I throughout the week, as I'm just like minding my own business, I'm like, what are some stuff we can talk about?
You want to know what we can talk about is our trip to Home Depot that happened. I don't think you were there for that. I think that was just me and a few other guys. Louise.
My bad. Sent me a snap of like all of you at Home Depot, and I was like sitting in physics class. I was like, Alex better be back in time.
Oh, I was back on time.
He was back in time.
I was back in time.
Alex doesn't skip class.
No, I don't. But yeah, that Home Depot trip was fun, especially because we were walking by all the plumbing stuff and all the tubes and all the copper. And the amount of times I kept threatening to steal and resell copper. I love that joke, by the way. The joke of like copper, fiending for copper and stealing copper.
Where did it come from?
Well, because it's a thing that happens. Like at construction sites, if they have like coils of copper cable, it'll get stolen because of how valuable copper is.
Wait, I didn't even realize. I didn't even know that was.
You didn't know that was a thing? I didn't just make that up.
Oh.
That's like an actual crime that happens. They have to protect their copper.
Copper wire was a big thing.
I think it's
copper's that valuable.
Mm-hmm. It's not like diamond valuable, but you know. It's like, when you have copper wire for construction, you have a lot of it, and a lot of copper is a lot of money.
That's fair.
That can buy a lot of.
We're not okay. We're not stealing copper.
I'm not promoting you.
Or taking.
Oops.
Something else we got. If the audio goes blank for a second, we'll just.
Yeah, if there's any cuts or if the audio cuts out,
the audio's not there.
Just know it was another slip of the tongue. Okay. Work with us here. Help us help you, please. But
at this rate, we might not make it to season 3.
We're gonna get canceled by the network. The network being Jeff, he's gonna have to sit us down. He's gonna be like, "All right, guys."
Once we're done here, I'm gonna like make a list of the things we gotta go back and double check.
Yeah. Start doing that. We have to.
Anyways.
Yeah, but that's why I missed that joke.
That probably would have ended up getting cut. So continuing on with our regularly scheduled programming, you don't need to know what we said. We're just gonna keep going.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going.
Yeah, I didn't realize that taking copper was that big of an issue.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's less so now. I think it was a bigger issue in like the 2010s, I want to say.
I know. What is it? The thing in cars?
Catalytic converters.
I know that was a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
I know that people get those stolen.
I mean, and that stuff still gets stolen now, of course. Okay.
You don't drive, do you?
Not here.
Every once in a while, someone goes around and just puts up everyone's windshield wipers. And it's like, is it you?
No, it's not me. I wish it was though.
And it's like, it's not even that damaging. Like unless you like absolutely just wrench someone's windshield wiper.
I mean, they're designed to go up like that.
It's just a mild inconvenience, and I think it's kind of funny because every once in a while I'll go like, they're at it again, because like everyone's windshield wipers are up, and it's like I don't know who it is.
I wish I thought of that. I've thought of a few things to mess with people's cars with. It was
last semester. There was a plunger that would go around the car. It started I say the cars. It was me and my friends, because someone stuck a plunger on my front windshield.
Dude, plungers on windshields. That was my idea for April Fools, and I got sick on April 1st.
Yeah, and so I'm just walking to my car, and like I'm probably like 30 feet out from my car, and I go, is that a plunger?
A plunger?
And it was a plunger on my windshield. So then what me and my friends would do is we would sneak around, and we would just stick the plunger on on each other's windshield, and we would just trade it back and forth.
Nice.
I should have brought the plunger, because like now I'm in Harris, and so I have like my own like bathroom. But I didn't bring the plunger, and it really sucked because the other day our toilet clogged, and I was like, has anybody got a plunger? And they were like, well, don't you have one in your car? And I was like, not
anymore.
Yeah.
Do you have a plunger in the room at least?
No, actually we didn't.
Not out of 4 guys, there was not one.
No, there's not a single plunger.
I think we each have a plunger. We all bought like our own toiletries.
Yeah, none of us had a plunger. Well, because plunger wasn't a thing we really thought about ahead of time. We were just like, yeah, well, like we have like toiletries and stuff, and like we have, but it's a plunger is really one of those things you don't think about till you need it.
You don't, no. That's fair.
Like, I gotta get my let's see, the grocery list is we gotta get soap, I gotta get chicken and rice, and I gotta go get my laundry, and then a plunger. No, you don't think of a plunger.
No, if your diet is within reason, the plunger comes out like once every blue moon.
Exactly. Or if you just accidentally use too much toilet paper.
Or if you accidentally use too much toilet paper.
Which is usually what it is for me.
That tends to be what happens. Yeah. It's pretty hard to do it the other way.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever clogged a toilet that way. But it's mostly the too much toilet paper. Let's see. Going back to how do you think you did on the physics test yesterday?
I think I did okay.
I think I did.
I think I'm pretty confident on my answers that were not on the calculus problems.
Yeah. I was confident on that first problem, and that was about it. He said grades might be out tonight, so.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, the suspense is killing me. So this past week and this upcoming week is midterms week, which I don't like that it's already the middle of the term.
I can't wait, dude. I told you my schedule sucks, and don't get me wrong, I'm handling everything fine. I'm not failing classes. I'm actually doing like A's and B's and all that stuff. I'm staying on top of everything. But having my days start at like 9, like the class itself starts at 9, so I'm already up and getting ready before that, and then my last class gets out at like 6:15, and I get 1 break between that. I mean, if you count work, 2 breaks, because work's not really, I'm not studying for work.
Yeah. Actually, that's honestly one of the reasons is a lot of times I'll just go and I'll just like be like, okay, I'll just go to work right now, and then I'll do other stuff later. As
busy as I've been, I've not gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, something has to give, especially not work, because again, the job it's not my first year here, so I'm not learning all the new equipment. It's not new. And I know what I'm doing. It's just
sometimes I still learn things.
Oh, the light board I have to learn. The light board, I got to do the Canvas course that they set up for us for the light board. That thing always throws me.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, just like, yeah, it's you don't know what you don't know what you don't know until you go to do it. Mm-hmm. Because like it's kind of like when you prepare. It's like kind of like when you study for a test and you actually get to the test and you're like, uh-oh. It's like you're like, oh yeah, I know how to do that thing, and then you go to do the thing and you realize like you're ill prepared, and then you forget about it. But like yeah, light board is something I've gotten better at. I'm still not great at. Soundboard, I'm okay at. I can do basic soundboard stuff. I can't do like fancy soundboard stuff.
I'd say I'm pretty proficient with the soundboard at this point.
Like camera stuff, that's what I'm probably know the most of.
The video, I've done this so many times. Yeah, I'm pretty handy with these cameras now.
What I like to do is I like to run the switcher. Running the switcher's fun, especially when you got like bunch of cameras. It's fun. I enjoy it. Yeah.
I like working like the actual camera itself, like getting being right behind the camera and like pan to follow people. That's what I especially like when I have to stand behind a camera and it's just all right, make sure it doesn't turn off.
Yeah, that's boring. But when I get to like follow, I like that too. But like when you have like a bunch of cameras, like a big like when you got like a bunch of cameras and you're like hey, this looks like a good shot and then this looks like a good shot. That's fun.
Oh yeah.
Like and that's like kind of artistic.
I don't know if I've actually worked a switcher for an event.
I've worked it.
I done one. The MLK event. I think I was on the switcher for that.
That was such a cool event.
It was actually much more interesting than I thought it was going to be.
Okay, well, I was in the audience, and so they did a reading of the I Have a Dream speech, and the guy went up and read it. He did an amazing job.
Yeah, this was a year. This is in
February.
Yeah, this was February of 2023.
Yeah, so this year.
Way back.
It's on our YouTube channel if you want to go watch it. But I have actually, because we came across it and I saw myself in the, like at one point I was like, oh, that's good. No, it was really cool. But like all of the older people in the audience, it was like they were in church. I don't know. Are you religious?
I slightly almost.
So, I mean,
barely.
That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of being in church. Like there was a lady next to me and she was just like, amen, amen, and I was like, this is. Like it was like you could like feel like there wasn't like a lot of like they weren't like moving much, but like you could feel like they were getting into it.
Right.
Like the guy next to me was like humming the entire time, and it was really cool. It was a really cool event to be in the audience of. Like I'm really glad. Like as much as I don't like standing in the audience with cameras because you're on your feet the entire time, like you can't really sit down.
Right.
That one was really cool, and I was like, this is. I think I went on the headset at one point. I was like, guys, I feel like I'm in church. Like it was a really cool event to be in the audience for, and. Yeah, it was really cool. And he did an amazing job reading the I Have a Dream speech. Y'all were up in the booth cracking jokes. They didn't even pertain to the event. They were just jokes. Like, y'all were just bored and making jokes. And I'm in the audience listening to a guy talk about how he wants people to be treated equally and trying not to laugh because y'all are cracking jokes. I hate when that happens. And that's the worst thing is when you're in the very middle of a very serious moment and you're in a place where everyone can see you and everyone else is cracking jokes and you have to not laugh because if you laugh you look like just a horrible person.
Yep.
And that was me the entire time. So I'm like, the guy's like, he's like, I have a dream that one day my children will be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And they're all up in the booth like, poopy fart butt. And I'm just like trying not to laugh.
And we gotta cut that out.
Poopy fart butt. We don't have to cut that.
Oh. Okay. I misheard a word in there.
No, I said poopy fart butt.
Okay, we're fine. We're fine.
Clarify. So I'm trying not to laugh, and I'm just like, guys, stop it. But then the thing is, if you say, guys, stop it, and they just take it as a challenge.
Oh yeah, no, I would have cranked the funny from 7 to 10.
And they just try to make you laugh even more. And so you got to do eventually. It's like going off calm, and you take your headset off, and you hope you don't miss anything important, because you got to collect yourself, because you can't be caught laughing during Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech, because that's just incredibly rude.
Yep. Yeah, no, that would have made you look really bad.
But that's what I enjoy it. It's fun.
Yeah. Comms is so fun. I can't wait till we get to work some events where we get to use comms again.
Yeah, comms are always fun. Especially, it's always fun when you've got like a group of people, like usually when they're up in the Zen room, because the Zen room is its own kind of special beast, because it's soundproof. No one can hear what's going on.
Oh yeah, you're like isolated.
So they just kind of like go buck wild, and so you're just like all you're doing is hearing it. You can't actually see anything that's going on. And you're just like hearing people like, no. You just hear like bickering back and forth, and you don't know the context. And when you finally like manage to get somewhere where you have, because we've got a security camera in the Zen room, and we've got a few places just for monitoring purposes. And so when you finally get to a place like where you can go look and see what's happening, you're just like, how did it get to this point? You turn your back, and all of a sudden they like set up like a boxing ring, and there's like the guy running the switcher and the guy up running the audio are just like in each other's corners, and they're just going at it, and you're like, how did it get to this point? But like that's just the Zen room.
Listen, man, the Zen room, yeah, this what happens in the Zen room stays in the Zen room. Okay.
Yeah, it is interesting. Because it's also if you're in the booth, you can't be too loud because people in the audience can still hear you.
Yep.
If you're on stage, can't be too loud. People on stage might hear you, or people in the audience like close up. But in the Zen room, soundproof.
Yeah.
In and out. No one's hearing you.
It's a war zone.
Essentially as loud as you want.
Yeah.
You know what I always forget?
What?
So we have this bathroom backstage, right?
Yeah, there's the bathroom backstage. Yeah, if you flush
that thing, everyone in the audience can hear you.
Really?
Yeah, and I always forget about that. And I'm not gonna lie, I did that at once during orientation. Because they were doing, and I immediately, as I'd flushed, because it's habit. You use the toilet and you flush the toilet, and as soon as it went like started flushing, and I went, oh, one heard that, and then you do, and the speaker is usually like a little confused as to what just happened, but they just kind of like continue like nothing happened, and hope they're the only ones that heard.
I've just never used that bathroom. It's just never been worth it.
Well, like if you're doing stage managing, it's. Especially for like what we were doing, like that thing, like that one was it's like 6 hours long. Like
okay, I that's fair.
Because they just had various things coming in and out. I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom.
But that
if it's like a shorter event, go before. Just go before.
Yeah, go before, or if you're not like on stage duty, just use the normal bathroom in the lobby.
But that one, I mean, you've only really had the one option, or you go. I mean, either that or you go like around the whole building. But I was the only person backstage, so I didn't want to go for too long.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or you cut to the audience, and that's a no-go either.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, we were talking about physics. Good luck, by the way, to anyone that had a midterm.
Oh yeah.
Next week. Well,
by the time you see this, you should have probably taken your midterm.
Good luck. Well, good luck's a little late, but I hope you did well, and I hope you got the grade you wanted. And if not, just don't stress.
Don't stress about it. It's halfway through the term. You can turn that around.
We'll pick it up. I think it's really funny whenever Evan Smith just starts talking about his fantasy football team.
I love Evan Smith. Okay, so especially clicker questions. You want to know how he does clicker questions for those in the audience that don't have Evan Smith? He doesn't do them ahead of time.
Yeah, so he's just as confused as we are.
It's a multiple choice question, right? It's on a slideshow. One slide's just the question. The next slide is the same slide, but with a check mark next to the right multiple choice option. So he's like, all right, so let's try and do this problem here. We'll go through it as a class. A few people will try and like put in some input, and then Smith will do out the problem, or not even necessarily do it out, because a lot of them are just conceptual.
Yeah, so he'll explain it.
Yeah, he'll explain it. He'll be like, all right, so we're all pretty sure the answer is B, and we go to the next slide and it's D, and he's like, all right, let's try and figure out why it's not B. And it's a 50-50 shot whether or not we actually figure it out, or if he's just like, you want to know what, this just won't be on the exam.
Yeah, so sometimes he's a little confused, and we're all a little confused, because sometimes the answers are just explained horrendously. Most of the time, if he doesn't know why, it's just because he's like, I can't tell if it's asking this or asking this.
That's true. A lot of the problems are worded very poorly.
Yeah, so it's not really him not knowing what he's doing. It's just he's like, there's two different ways you can answer this question, and I don't really know based off of what they're giving me what they want.
I just love the dynamic of the entire class and the professor getting the same wrong answer, and then just like, I don't know.
That actually makes me feel a lot better too.
It makes you feel way better though, going into it's like, okay, not even Smith knows how this is supposed to work.
Well, also he also, to be fair, a lot of what he does is like astrophysics.
True.
Like a lot of the times he's like, look, I'm kind of rusty on a lot of this stuff, but that's because because we're doing electric current, and I don't think a guy who does mostly astrophysics has dealt with electric current in a while.
Yeah, no, it'd be like asking you to do like an integral with Raymond sums.
Yeah, it's like, just something he hasn't done in a while. So he's like, look, I'm a little rusty, but give me a second. Mm-hmm. But I just think it's really funny whenever he talks about his fantasy football team.
That too.
Because I know nothing about fantasy football.
Oh, absolutely nothing.
I don't know I don't know much about football. Period.
I just started going on
fantasy football. And so
I just started going on like tangents about how my fantasy football team, right? I got like wizards, right? Because they can teleport, of course. So huge advantage getting to the end zone with that. And then also for linebackers, they're short, but dwarves are really stocky, and I just keep going on like that.
Yeah, and that's
it's fantasy
I know nothing
football.
About fantasy football, because there's the two that sit closer to him. They know a lot about fantasy football, and so like usually on Mondays and Thursdays, because I know he does this fantasy football thing on Wednesday, and then Sunday night football's on Monday, obviously. So like those are the days when he comes in, and they usually like spend like the moments before class, and they're talking about fantasy football, and I'm just sitting there going, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm really glad that he likes it that much. Yeah. So I think, because we're coming up on an hour here.
We are.
Now that we're on the topic of orcs and fantasy football, I think we should both describe. You kind of did some of it, but I would like you to go into a little more detail. Your fantasy football team.
My fantasy football team? Okay.
Your fantasy, like literal fantasy
the literal fantasy football team,
and
mine.
You watchers, put down in the comments who you think's fantasy football team would win.
Okay. So I don't know the actual terms of football players besides linebacker and quarterback.
Me neither.
So this is going to be a bit messy. But for the guys running the ball, I'm going to...
I think that's running back.
Running back?
I don't know.
I want wizards.
Look, disclaimer, we don't know football.
No, I don't. I put on the Super Bowl because that is a holiday in my mind. I hate how we have lost the sanctity of the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl commercials. They're touch and go. They're 50-50.
They are.
They're great, and sometimes they're.
They are, but the Super Bowl has to go on when it's live, and that's how we live our.
That's how it was in my house. We were not a football family, but we still watched the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
because
and
it's the Super Bowl.
Kept the same thing going in my dorm.
Most of the time, it's because of the halftime show.
I think like half of us in the room don't watch football, but we all had the Super Bowl on. All went to the freezer aisle to make sure, because at the Super Bowl you have to stock up on pizza rolls and taquitos and so on and so forth.
My girlfriend's aunts. We watched it there. It was really fun. We're the only people under 20. So, yeah.
Nice.
Under 21. So we're the only sober ones, which that gets in its own right.
Oh, I could absolutely... People lose their minds over sports sober. So
100%. But we're both don't know football. So, like, we were sitting there like, yeah. We were just cheering along. Like, oh, good thing.
What I like doing for football game or just games in general is just start chanting USA when one of the teams starts doing something.
The funny thing is just like... especially with the Super Bowl, because like everyone watches it, but not everybody like has a team that they like in there.
Yeah.
So like, that's the thing that always confuses me. I'm like, okay, who are we rooting for? Because then like sometimes you have a divide like in the place that you're watching the Super Bowl. So I just get confused. I'm like, look, I know football enough to like, be like, oh, that was a good thing. But most of the time I'm like, okay, but what team am I rooting for? That's where I get lost a lot of times. Because I was in marching band in high school, so I did that for 4 years. So I picked up enough just by proxy of football to know like the general stuff. I still don't know what offsides means, but I don't feel bad because I know that like there's people who like really into football and even they don't know what offsides means. So yeah, that's honestly the always thing. Like, all right, which team are we rooting for? Because I need to know so I don't make a fool of myself. Anyways, have your fantasy football.
My fantasy football team. So the maybe running back would be
running back.
Those guys would be wizards, right?
Yeah.
Because magic throws on the ball, maybe teleportation, move around real nimble like. I think that'd be really good. For the linebackers, I would use dwarves, like I said. They're shorter, but I would know that is that's not a limiting factor. Okay.
Short king.
I'd have my army of short kings on the field.
Yeah.
And they'd get some they'd make some ground, all right? And then quarterback would be a rogue, so he can stealth past the team, because that's a good point.
That's a good point.
I think that's how that works a little. That would be my fantasy football team. Wizards, or that's not the running backs are not in front. The linebackers are in front. Dwarves, wizards, rogue. That's my fantasy football team.
We're going with that. I'm doing orcs.
Okay.
Just because they might not be the smartest, but quite frankly, if you put, I'm trying to think of what the team size is of football.
I think it's 11.
If I put like 6,
or is that soccer?
If I put 6, 7 foot, 400 pounds of muscle guys out front, they don't need to be that smart. They just need to know, hey, don't let that guy through.
That's fair.
So that's mine. So my linebackers are orcs. The guy whoever's running the ball. Who do I want? I want who's speedy fast. I'm gonna make that guy a rogue.
You're gonna make that guy.
The guy running the ball is gonna be a rogue.
Okay.
Because now he's like nimble and he's like ooh.
That's fair.
Juking him. He's juking him out.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be hard to hit. And the quarterback, because I know one of the big things about a quarterback has to have like all the plays memorized.
Yeah.
So and they've got to be like. They've got to be able to make like split second decisions. So they've got to have they've got to be pretty intelligent, because they've got to have like all the plays memorized, and they're like the field general, because if the coach is in there, like they're making the calls. So for that, I'm gonna say a wizard. So I'm actually gonna swap your wizard and your rogue.
I can respect that though. Yeah. I can see the logic in that.
Because but now he can if he wants to, he can make like plays, but he can enhance them with magic.
That's true, actually. That's honestly, that might be a bit better than my setup. But I'm gonna stick by what I said.
Yeah, and I respect that. I respect people who stand fast in what they think. But I think that's a good place to end.
I think that is a good place to end.
Let us know who you think fantasy football would win.
Yeah, who do you think would win out of the two of us? Would you like to make a fantasy football team?
GPAC Super Bowl?
The GPAC
Comment
Bowl.
down below your fantasy football team, and we will let you know what we think.
Yeah, we'll leave some opinions maybe if we have time.
If we don't get to them in a video, we'll try to get them in the comments.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get to see the updated. We're gonna do a clacker. We're gonna click up to end. Can I end it?
You can end it. And then just be careful. One of the bolts on here is loose, so you could just rip that off.
And we'll try to do our best to give you the updated house points.
That's right.
Because we're gonna try our best.
No promises. No promises, but we try.
No promises, but we try. And that is the end of season 2, episode 2.
Heck yeah.
Did you say IKEA?
I said heck yeah.
I thought he said IKEA. 3, 2.
IKEA.